So most of the hard work is done at this point. You've trained your butt off for who knows how many weeks. You've packed your bags and you've shown up to your first powerlifting meet, but you have no idea what to expect. Well, in today's video, we're gonna continue to try and set you up for success, detailing all of the things that happen at a powerlifting meet before the lifting. These things are often overlooked, but can have a huge impact on starting your competition off on the right foot. Welcome to episode 5 of the Path of Powerlifting series. First, you'll need to know what time you're gonna start lifting. There'll be communications, usually through email, with the meet director that'll let you know what time weigh-ins start on the day. I recommend you get to the venue about 20 to 30 minutes before that weigh-in start time. This way, you can scope out the venue, get comfortable with where everything is, like the bathroom, for example, and also so you can be fully prepared when your name's called for weigh-ins. But it's just weigh-ins. Don't I just go stand on a scale? It's a bit more than that. Let me explain. There's a process to the pre-meet period, and it's gonna go like this. First is equipment check. An equipment check is gonna start 30 minutes before the weigh-ins begin. Everyone will be lining up, and referees will be looking through everyone's stuff. Here are the things you'll need to have ready for inspection. ID, federation membership, drug testing course completion certificate, wrist wraps, belt, deadlift socks, singlet, shoes, knee sleeves, and the t-shirt that you plan on wearing under your singlet. Equipment check is to ensure that everything is from the approved brands, as well as general equipment restrictions and rules are being followed. Once your stuff is all checked off, you'll be asked to initial next to your name and the check marks for your equipment, and the waiting will begin. In the weigh-in area, just outside of the weigh-in room, there should be a list that looks a lot like this. It's gonna have all of the lifters' names and all of the assigned lot numbers. More on lot numbers later. For now, all you need to know is that these numbers are randomly assigned and they'll dictate the order in which the lifters will weigh in. Stick around the weigh-in area, make sure that you're nearby so you can hear when your name is called. The weigh-in period is gonna last 1.5 hours. If for some reason you miss being called the first time, just stick around until they're finished the list and they will call you in again. All right, Bryce, come on. When you get into the weigh-in room, you'll need to be prepared. And this means having your ID, valid membership, CCES or other anti-doping course completion certification, as well as your opening attempts in kilograms and your preferences for the racks and safeties. First, let's talk about your opening attempts. Your opening attempt is the first attempt of each lift that you'll do on the day. Have these in kilograms. Do not give these to the referee in pounds. If you do, you might have a pretty bad time. Planning good openers is a bit of an art and a science. It's kind of complex, and it's something that you should discuss with your coach if you have one. Or, if you want to just talk to me about it, you can hop on the Calgary Barbell training app. In the Calgary Barbell training app, not only are you getting your weekly check-in and technique advice, but you're gonna get a professional to help you choose your goal third attempts, your openers, and even your warm-ups. Yes, there's a ton of programs and a slick UI and good tracking of all your data, but the key is being able to hit up a powerlifting coach like myself, who's been doing this for 10 plus years, and begin to actually understand programming and how to get a good game plan together. But what if you're not using the CBB app and maybe you don't have a coach? You'll still need to figure out your opening attempts, so here's how. In the description box below is a link to a meet card that we've used with CBB one-on-one coaching clients, as well as members of the CBB training app. This sheet is gonna help you go from, this is my goal third attempt, to, okay, this is about where I should open. Click on it, make a copy of this file, and punch your goal third attempts into the red cells. Now, setting your goal third attempts is gonna be essential to the game plan. If you've competed before, you'll probably have a pretty good idea how to do this, but if not, you're gonna have to pull all of this out of your training data. Now, one of the best tools we have for estimating our top end strength is something called RPE, or rating of perceived exertion. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you can check the video in the description where we did a full video on the concept of RPE. You'll use RPE and the training data from your heaviest training leading into the meet to estimate your 1 rep max. You can also use tools like rpecalculator.com or any of the varied RPE charts out there to help you do this. You want to be able to hit your opener even if everything goes wrong. If you're unsure, err on the lighter side because you can always take a big jump upwards on your second attempt, but you can't lower the weight in powerlifting once your opener is locked in. Try and get your openers figured out after your last heavy week of training, which is usually about 1 week out from competition. In powerlifting, you're gonna be lifting on one of a variety of competition combo racks. This here is an Eleiko rack, and over there is an ER rack. Chances are that you'll be competing on one of these two racks. And if not, it's gonna be pretty close. So let's give you a bit of a crash course on the combo rack. There are 2 different hooks for the bar on the upright. This is the squat hook, and this is the bench hook. Use this if you're squatting, and this if you're benching. Another feature to note on the combo rack is gonna be that each combo rack will have a different mechanism in and around this area of the rack to make these uprights go in and out. In the case of this Eleiko rack, there's a little pin to pull and a lever to flip. Make sure it locks all the way in. That's racks in. That's racks out. The bench press, when you're benching, fits in here and is removed when you're squatting. The safeties are for benching and not for squatting. Either unscrew them and remove them or slot them out and pull them out when you're squatting. These lever arms off the front of the rack will allow for the rack height to be changed while the weight is changed or while the weight stays the same. This allows our platform spotting and loading crew to move at the speed of an F1 pit crew. Now you might be asking yourself, why the heck is this guy giving me an anatomy lesson on the combo rack? Well, because you're gonna need this information to get your rack heights figured out for both squat and bench press. So let's get into that next. Most meets will have a rack set out for the express purpose of getting rack heights on. However, if your competition doesn't have one of those, you're here early because you're smart and you're following along with this series. So let's just use the rack on the platform. Your rack height is gonna be this number here. That corresponds with whichever hole the pin needs to go into for your squat height or bench height. Now, let's talk about finding the right height. Put the bar on the squat hooks and adjust the height up and down until you're able to unrack for a squat with maybe 2 to 3 inches to spare. You want to be able to unrack without going up on your tippy toes, and you also want the bar to hit the back of the uprights when you walk it back in. Quick tip here is to get your rack height in the shoes that you're going to compete in. Whether you're wearing a big heeled shoe or a small flat minimal shoe, those changes in height can be enough to disrupt the rack height. In order to get it correct, get your rack heights in the same shoes you're going to lift in. At weigh-ins, you'll also be asked, do you want racks in or out? Racks out is the default. But for some bigger lifters or lifters with shoulder restrictions, you may want to move the racks in so you can take a wider grip. Now let's get your bench, rack, and safety heights. First, put the bench into place and make sure that it's properly secured. If you don't slot the bench in properly, it may affect the height of the bench, so just be sure on that part. You want to be able to unrack just by straightening your elbows, but without having to do a half a rep. The number next to the pin here, when you're all said and done, that's your bench height. Now, let's move on to getting your safeties set properly. Set the safeties approximately, then bring the bar down to your chest and collapse your arch. You want the safeties to take the weight if the bar compresses your chest by more than 1 inch or so. It is possible to have these safeties too high and then for them to interfere with your bench. So the advice here is just to make sure that they're gonna save your face if that bar comes back towards your teeth. Now the ref will also ask, do you want foot blocks? They come in a couple different sizes and they can help for some lifters who have shorter legs. Unless you're certain that you do want foot blocks and you've been training with them, just say no. Once the referee's recorded all of that information, it's time to weigh in. Now, in order to weigh in, you'll need to be down to your underwear. Unless, of course, you're trying to min-max and, well, every gram counts at that point, you do have the option to weigh in nude. Before leaving the weigh-in room, the referee is going to hand you your lifter card. This is gonna have all of your opening attempts, your rack heights, safeties, all that stuff recorded on it. And you're gonna need to double check, make sure everything's correct, and sign an initial. The referee will likely give you your attempt cards after you're done weighing in, but in the event that you don't get them, make sure to ask the referee, because sometimes referees forget and other times they're just given to you elsewhere. These attempt cards are gonna be what you fill out and hand to the scoring table for each of your attempts after the first, or in the case that you need to change your opener. One last little piece of advice, just try to be relatively quick with your weigh-ins. It's good etiquette because there's people waiting to eat and drink who have been cutting, so try and make your way through there in a timely manner. Now that you've weighed in, you've probably got somewhere around an hour to wait. This period is maybe one of the most painful parts of any powerlifting meet, this lull. You don't want to start warming up yet because, well, you got a while until your session starts, but sitting around and just biding your time can be a little bit anxiety inducing. My recommendation is to try to find somewhere comfortable, put on some vibey music, and just try to relax and chill a little bit. And while you're just chilling, vibing out, and relaxing, you can head over and check out our sponsors at innerstrengthproducts.ca and look at their wide variety of powerlifting equipment. Not only do they have all kinds of brands for personal equipment like belts, squat suits, wrist wraps, knee sleeves, all that jazz, but they've also got you covered if you need shoes, or a mouth guard, or a rack? Yes, a rack. Inner Strength Products is now selling their Met XT competition spec powerlifting rack, as well as comp bar and calibrated plates. So if you need to outfit a home gym and you're looking for some comp spec equipment, ISP's got you covered. In our next video, we're gonna go over everything lifting at a meet. We're gonna go through warm-ups, attempt selection, opener changes, all that kind of stuff, the round system. It's gonna be a doozy. So make sure to tune in next time for episode 6 of the Path of Powerlifting series. Like, subscribe, notification bells, all that kind of stuff, follow along, and we'll see you there. See ya.